All right, so we're live.
Beautiful.
Great. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this
Hello.
session. We have got quite a number of people in the room. Lovely to meet you all. My name is John Egan. On the call, we've Akos, Adele, and Safwan. We were just having some conversations backstage about what emerging technologies, I suppose, what impact they're having in their specific roles and within their specific companies that they're working for. So I suppose I wanted to kick off with a question, just if you could talk about, your respective technologies that you addressed in your conversation or your discussions today. What impact are they having in your current roles, and where you project they might impact in the future? And before I pass that over to you, speak, or those in the audience, if you have any questions, please pop them in the question and answer box. All right. So, Akos, do you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Great question. So very briefly about Planoly. So just to put everything in context, what we are doing, we are the starting point probably to many of the BIM processes, because we are defining what we are going to deliver, doing execution planning, but also detailed responsibility matrices to have a clear understanding of what we can expect from the project and where it has to develop to. And in the end, once we have an agreement about what we are doing, we also do compliance and check whether the deliverables are according to our requirements. So a huge topic that we are trying to cover, again, starting very early before doing any kind of modeling, but it sets the clear expectations of what we are going to do. And there are lots of course, things happening outside of our environment. Let it be ISO 19650 that we fully support, or let it be standards from Building Smart like IDS or Building Smart Data Dictionary. Those are such great things and resources that we definitely want to tie into. So, for example, when it comes to the information delivery specification, IDS, that's a beautiful concept to make our lives, our BIM managers and modelers and designers and whoever has to work with information in the BIM world, to make our lives easier and assure seamless interaction between tools and software applications. It has also a human readable version of it, of course. So once we define our task information delivery plans, our responsibility matrices, that's something that you can pass on using an IDS, but it has to be understood by the humans as well. So it has, on our interface, on the Planoly user interface, it has a very visual and easy to understand user interface as well. So everyone around the table, let them be on any part of their BIM journey and BIM adoption curve, they can understand what it has to be delivered. And we believe that this is a key to a successful project delivery. Building Smart Data Dictionary are the thing that we tie into. It just makes sure that the project starts from the same sources, and each and every project participant talks about the same requirements. Let it be modeling requirements, classifications. And then I know the next question will be coming, so I just drop in AI here as well. So something that we also put into action and let the humans to be in full control. But all those tedious and manual work that doesn't require necessarily the engineering knowledge, but requires time to put together. That's where we start introducing, like in document creation, searching for explanations and images and so on and so on. Great places in the application. But I let the floor to others as well.
Great. Thanks, Akos. Adele, do you have any comments on how you think AI, or well, how AI is impacting, or you see AI impacting construction, and where the future is going with that?
Sure. So I have my PhD is in AI machine learning, and I have a company called Health Reasoning, in which we basically produce AI. So we take different algorithms and we build them, we train them, and we deliver those for different companies. So maybe Aquas kind of like can help you with one of those. And the big thing that we look at is when people talk about AI, they talk about the big names like ChatGPT and others, but those are really good for simple thing, maybe entertaining things. But when you go and think about it in a business context, there are a lot of challenges. So, for example, Akos mentioned, like companies that are doing scheduling and working within construction, their data is their secret sauce. So it's harder for them to take the data, ship it outside for a third party to actually train their models and then generate results for them. So we've seen this more acute, specifically in healthcare and other verticals, where on top of the secret sauce, you also have regulations like HIPAA and others that prohibit you from sharing the information that you have. So what do? You have to create your own AI within your tenancy or within your company, and then train it specifically on your data. So you might be familiar with something called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generative AI. What we have invented is something called DRAG. It's a domain retrieval augmented generative AI, in which the AI, you get a base model, and then from there you actually train it on your own specific data. Hence, it knows the context of your company. It's kind of like hiring a resource and then giving them a couple of weeks to get their feet and get their bearings, and then they are able of talking to your company specific domain as work on it. So that's one. Then there is also like challenges in the field of like, how do you understand the values delivered by AI, and how do you understand which models that you would use, how you train them, because AI is not a simple software they just plug in and get it running. It's usually requires a lot of investment on your company and your infrastructure. So before you sink in all that money, how do you know that you are going to end up with a good result? Kind of like what Akos mentioned, you have to plan and get to it.
Interesting. So typically construction companies will be quite conservative and protective around their data. Have you had any experiences with construction companies? Have you seen, I mean, can you comment on their behaviors, how receptive they are to this DRAGgy concept?
So for the DRAG specifically, I can't mention names because of
Sure.
DAs, but what we found is companies usually want to understand more the difference. So kind of like, the very first that they will say, okay, like if I ask a question to ChatGPT or Bard or others, I get some long-winded answer, but it's not specific. So how would that affect my own kind of like version of that AI? And typically what we've seen is that you would want to create a POC for the company to say like, okay, let's play together. Let's create a sandbox and then have your data put into that sandbox. Then we train a selected model on it so that it can bring you results back. And part of this, it's not that we provide something, turn it on, and it works. We have to understand what are the objectives that you are trying to do. For example, if you are looking at cost analysis, so you want to understand how your choice of different materials, your choice of different labor that would go into a project affects the overall cost. That topic by itself is very hard to do it with a generative AI or a general case AI. You have to understand the parameters underneath it and generate a lot of context. So how that context is generated, it's coming from two parts. One is the data, so you have to have a data corpus. That's usually is coming from the company itself, and then from the person that is doing that same job right now. So basically, we go through a session of question and answers, basically. So you have the data, here is the question, let's get an answer for that. And after a while of doing that, we are able of training the AI to provide you with meaningful answers to those questions. What we've seen is that, like 60-70% of construction focused companies are basically aware of AI, looking to use AI. However, a very small number beyond kind of like, very trivial things are actually using. I would put it in the teens with actually using the AI. Why? Because they've been burned trying to use something promised that it will deliver the sun and the moon and the stars at the same time, but the results were not actually there, because at the end of the road, I'm a technologist, but there is a CFO that will come and say like, hey, I spent with you so much money, what are my results? And if it is cheaper to just hire people and do that, they will lean towards this outcome.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that leads into my question for Safwan. As a VDC BIM manager, what have been the practical applications that you have used AI for? And how did you, yeah, and on top of that, how did you sell or could you comment? Well, actually, go with that first. I'll
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
the question.
Actually, as we know that AI can't replace the human, like in VDC or in Beam or in coordination. So AI is gonna have like an important role. If we talk about VDC, also we talk about data that circle in Beam model to coordinate. So AI also can enhance in interoperability and data analysis to give us also we talk about standardizing definition and task automation. So the future here of AI can give us an ecosystem for our even for our coordination or of our real-time updates. If we talk about the project coordination, we have like to optimize also the tasks, and talking about the schedule in project. So here is like how can we integrate or how can embed AI in our process of constructions.
Gotcha. So have you tried to sell the value of this to management? Have your company been invested in AI, or is it at the stage where you're trying it out, you're prototyping some solutions and trying to figure out where you can fit the value proposition into your business?
Yeah, actually, I'm just like I'm not just spectator of how AI evolve, the evolution of AI, but I try to integrate AI for example, for design or data automation, and for design we talk about like generative design, for example, to help us to get the best design after iteration, refer to the constraints of human of our inputs. So this is important for us to know that AI also without human decision is not limited, but it's gonna be a risk if we let just AI get the all role. So we have the important role of human of us, and also we have the AI that can be a good tool for our process and for our management.
Okay. So I have a question from the audience. We've seems to be a lecturer. He has students who are generating deliverables using AI. He thinks that there's a new hybrid model where there's a computer and human working together to, I suppose, work through the deliverables. He just wants to get, I suppose, your idea in 5 years. What's your 5-year view on this? Where do you think we're going to go in 5 years? Where, what will our role? How will it change our roles on construction projects in 5 years?
5 years is a long duration. We keep on hearing these 5-year projections about where building information modeling might be heading to, and we sometimes hit the target, sometimes we don't. So what I see as a strategy for ourselves is, as you both mentioned, two things. One is to make sure that AI is value created. So in the end, we have to make business and make sure that AI is rather helping us than creating a fog around building information modeling and information technology in general. So that's absolutely something to focus on. And the other thing is to make sure that the human is still going to be in control. So that's our strategy as well when we are creating agreements, when we are creating detailed responsibility matrices or automating the model checking. We have great places for AI, but we always want to make sure that decision making is going to remain in the hands of the engineers behind the screen. So that's my only take on this question.
Yeah, and we have a comment from one of the audience saying that AI can give incorrect information out, and obviously those that are responsible for creating the deliverables need to bear that in mind, and bear in mind that creating incorrect or erroneous deliverables is still their responsibility and could cause substantial losses for the industry. So there are, I suppose we have 5 minutes left in this roundtable. I wanted to get your ideas on what the blockers for AI adoption in construction currently are from your experience. Anyone want to take that?
For me, it's kind of like the proven value track. So once we see the very first hybrid construction companies that utilize AI and becomes a wild success, that will remove the obstacles. I think a lot in the industry are simply looking at ROI. What's the ROI for me to deploy AI and build on it? And they are apprehensive about the effort required to get over the hump of implementing it within their specific company and the effort required to do that.
Safwan, I suppose you're a company that you've been playing with AI, or what are the blockers that you see within your industry or within your company with AI?
Yeah, here also, as Doctor said, like the privacy or the information that you aim to turn into a model in AI or parameters is gonna be really crucial and important to not share, and you have to create your own model. But actually, we use AI for like documentation, also to get like for research for our knowledge, but using AI with other company like I don't know if I can so other company we can do like a management using it without I mean that all software that we use can be integrated also AI, so we can process with those softwares. Okay, like for example, I think also we have like open space for monitoring and for comparing the existing site and the previous project data within the caption, and so this is what I'm
Gotcha. And Akos, have you seen any integration of AI into the planning process?
Yeah, I mean, if I want to mention again ourselves, not to make it way too boring, but ourselves focusing on the planning, on the very first process steps of agreement creation between different parties. We do involve and use AI in our application as well. And as I mentioned, we do see room for more. Of course, I think it was very important to hear that we need proof that AI can deliver actually, and we also want to make sure that it doesn't make more mistakes than the humans do, which unfortunately is the case. I mean, humans also make mistakes. Potentially, we want to reduce the number of those mistakes and the valuable engineering hours that goes into these agreement creations. That's what we want to replace with AI in our case.
Perfect. Thank you, Akos, Adele, and Safun for your time. Thank you to
Thank you very
everyone
much.
at this roundtable. This discussion will continue, as far as I know, in the stage tables in one of the breakout rooms. So come find us there. And yeah, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Bye.